Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It is August 4th, 2025, and I'm back with another break time message. One of these bad masculines said she's terrified. So they've been talking about a person for many years now who they feel may be fitting for their needs of a sacrifice, but she's terrified and they don't apparently I don't know what's going on with that, but they haven't taken her yet. They're talking about the USA, the United States. They are mentioning a scorpion. They were talking about a scorpion on July 31st. They were talking about a scorpion as a low vibration. These ones are asking each other about somebody's family members as though they want to use them to drive them to disrupt something in another's life. They're discussing temperance, which is apparently the energy you are in, and it's causing them trouble. They're discussing citizenship as though they are going to try and revoke somebody's citizenship that has already been threatened on an actual generational United States citizen. There's something about handle them or couldn't handle them. They're talking about the financials. The curator is real mad. He has fallen from grace. His accusations regarding a woman were dismissed. He's angry. He's forcefully telling his bros that she is a red rummer, a prostitute, blah, 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 blah. They've been trying to pin the 7 deadly sins on this person. And then they've been using copycats to generate video evidence of debauchery and such. So just be aware. This is his story. So yeah, these copycats did things as this person, and he attempted to concoct false evidence and present it in a court system, I believe, as fact. There's something about a judge or a thing with a judge. You know, they had a lot of these judges bought. They're talking about somebody who has escaped. So they can't trap this feminine. They can't keep her. They can't do anything with her. They can't curse her property, her business, her house, or any of that. But they're still very much pushing in on the energy with the incessant need to be in that, and then to frame her with some vile debauchery, low-level crime, so that they can get her evicted from these upper dimensional spaces that she has entered into. They're talking about an enforcer. August 2nd, they mentioned enforce, or that something was enforcing something. So there's an enforcer out there. Apparently there's new laws and there's new things going on, and it's being enforced. These adversaries are talking about how she was activated. She's the opposite, one narcissist said to another. See, she is the opposite of their prophecy regarding a savior. Apparently, there are 2 different prophecies out there, and theirs is not in play. They were told that their savior did not know where to land and that they need to seek wise counsel because they're not coming to save them. So they're desperate to stop this other prophecy from continuing. They've been using copycats to commit heinous crimes and s.e.x deviancy, trying to pin false evidence on this opposite woman. They've worked very hard trying to frame this person in the eyes of the spiritual courts. These ones have fallen from grace for their efforts. They truly have nothing to lose now. They've lost everything. There's no sense in hiding their true selves anymore. They want revenge. And of course, they've always wanted revenge. They want revenge when they're loving you. They want revenge when they're hurting you. They want revenge when they are unsuccessful. They want revenge when they've been exposed. They want revenge when they've fallen from grace. They want revenge because you survived. They want revenge because they have nothing to lose, because it's all being stripped from them. There's something about heinous crimes against humanity. And somebody said, "You don't believe me." I had a vision of a meadow, a beautiful green meadow. It was surrounded by tall, beautiful, gorgeous trees. There were many light bodies, like biped light bodies, and it appeared as though they had a sword raised. Now, you couldn't tell that there was any flesh or hair or whatever. There was only an amazing white light, like a white lightning brightness, and there were many of them there in the meadow. A feminine was asking these narcissists if there are any people that have been able to dot. There's something about Trump's hideaway, whatever that means. And they're asking if she is identifiable. They're talking about law enforcement. These people have been crooked in the judicial system and in the law enforcement system. Things are changing, but they still probably have some folks on their payroll. They're still calling this woman an appetizer for their black hole soul. They need to feed it light in order to bring balance to their illusion, to fuel their illusion of a superiority or authority. So they still intend on feeding her to this thing, this monster, whatever it is that they're loyal to. A woman who looked pretty well off was walking out of a building, it appeared, and she was very upset. She was big, ugly, crying. So it appeared like maybe it was a court hearing. She might have lost a court case, fallen from grace. She was very upset. One of these narcissists said, "I like this one." And of course, that means they are excited by the idea of doing harm to her. Somebody's asking, is she psychic? She's psychic. She has to be a virgin. She's not a virgin. So these guys are hunting in overtime, looking for sacrifices. I'm hoping that people are aware and protecting their daughters and their sons. But they like the gifts of the feminines. Today, somebody said, and that would have been August 3rd, yesterday. Could have been that court case with that woman ugly crying. I don't know. Something happened yesterday that was very important. A masculine is asking if somebody was sick, or maybe they've been accused of being sick, demented. They're talking about somebody's driver's license. They're pinpointing somebody's address. They're planning a thing. They're asking if she is sensitive, as usual. This curator is telling somebody about a woman's purification rituals. They're so upset by this because their juju isn't sticking. They're talking about amnesia and a nebulizer. Now, these ones have, for centuries, used this nebulizer to wipe people's minds during their lives, at the end of their lives, before their next life. They've been taking the memories over and over and over again, just completely stripping people of their identities and then disconnecting them from source, wrapping their crown and cursing it, as well as putting blockages on their heart chakra and such. So they're really got this down pat. They've been at this for a long time. So it's like the people, or many people that perhaps aren't psychic, or maybe even some that aren't completely, in both realms at once, all the time, walking into realms all the time as self. So there may be some form of amnesia, whether it be severe or otherwise. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. But they've been doing this thing with this nebulizer for a long time to erase people's identities, their knowledge, their memories. One of my copycats in the very beginning of this, apparently when I first started shining, and it was first found in the court that like I had the shiny bright light, and we had a test, I guess, and she could not keep her shine on. So it was like, obviously, she was not me, and she started to have an identity crisis according to my enemies. So, this happens. They steal your memories, and then they plant them into some other person, and then they walk around as though they are you. And then when it's found out, they have an identity crisis because they don't actually have an identity. So they're using the word appetizer again. They have a beast that they need to feed. Who are and who aren't, a feminine was saying. So it's like there's an evaluation going on, a research. There's something about a union, or about union as a whole. These ones are really upset that these bright, shining life forms are coming together with other bright light forms, and they want to interfere. They need every star or every sun to be hooked up with a vampire. And to their horror, the light-bearing people are actually hooking up with each other, which is really upsetting them. It sounded like somebody said NDW, which is the Naval District of Washington, Ne'er-do-well, North Downs Way, which is a trail in the UK, National Data Warehouse, Navigation Decision Workstation, which is in the U.S. Navy, and the Nevada Department of Wildlife. These ones are talking about forgiveness. And somebody said, they love to hate you. These ones get extreme joy in trading intense pleasure for intense pain. I had a vision. It looked like a back door to a house. And there was a masculine kind of creeping in, all hunched over through the door. And it looked like he was holding a bucket or something. So check your locks. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of these masculines is saying, these individuals are psychic. And they're talking about surgery. So there could be cosmetic surgeries. They want to flip this original person and then replace it with a copycat. They could be talking about somebody needing a kidney, for they mentioned that a few days ago. She has control of herself, one of these ones told another. So this is what they want to do. They want to flip this person into fear, into, the feeling of betrayal or the memory of it. They want to flip this person into a heart-shattering experience that fouls the energy, so they can stick this stuff to it and stick them in the south node and then replace them with the copycat. But this person has control of herself and is has a regular purification ritual practice, and they're having difficulty. So again, they mentioned Epstein's name. This has been mentioned about 3 times over the last few days, weeks maybe. They're talking about the death penalty. They're talking about the Justice Department. They're talking about somebody's hip as though it's a weak point. They're saying that she is sacrilegious. And then I had The third wheel enemy card visually pop up in my mind's eye. So beware of that. One of these narcissists are saying that she thinks all of them are disgusting. She knows what they do, man. They sex people up, and then they sacrifice them and flip them and do all kinds of nasty stuff, man. And on it, their sex just isn't worth your life or your future or your happiness. It is disgusting. I had lowercase letters, a visual pop in mind, MIA, which is missing in action. MIA for a girl means my or mine, beloved, darling, ocean goddess, or queen. These adversaries are talking about a backfire. They've been sending out magic for some time now. And because of this woman's ability to remain balanced in temperance energy, it keeps coming back to them. So now somebody said, believe in yourself. And there's something about black magic. The other day, there was a masculine who said, when I go to feed there, dot, 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 dot. And then he went back the next day and he offered one of the ladies there an opportunity. And she said that she would be willing to do anything to get out of there. I don't know if it was this woman that's in this next part, but there's serious consequences, somebody said. And I don't know if it's for what they have done or what they are planning to do. Believe in yourself, somebody said, and something about black magic. It's like whoever offered this woman an opportunity was wanting her to do sex magic with them. And there's a little bit here, which I think so this curator, who has recently fallen from grace, is very strongly venting to people. He's making accusations of this woman being a red rummer, a drug addict, a prostitute, and they're trying to convince them that the court's decision is wrong or somehow manipulated by the devil. So he goes to these people and he says these things are all a woman is. They're doing black magic on the chakras of the feet. So last night, the chakras of the feet, the ankles, the chakras of the ankles, they were receiving like pinpricks. And my feet weren't asleep. I had to stand up for a lot of time last night. So it wasn't that my feet were asleep. It's that the energy, I was getting some energy downloaded into my feet chakras, my ankle chakras. And it was like pinpricks. And a tingling kind of a thing, but not, my feet were not asleep. This was definitely an energy attack. The feet kept cramping, and there was a lot of tension. And then I heard someone say, you're responsible for dot, 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 dot. While they were running these very bad energies into the lower chakras of my flesh temple. This went on for about 3 hours. A little while later, one of these other guys said, F the shit out of you. So here's the thing, man. Someone stated she's innocent because the energy wasn't being received. It wasn't sticking. It wouldn't take to the body. It wasn't being effective. So somebody stated that she's innocent because whatever they're saying, you're responsible for dot, dot, dot. And he's telling this woman to believe in herself and during this black magic. And so they're saying psychologically dot, dot, dot. So they're evaluating the mental body. Then I had a vision of this woman hanging from her wrists from the rafters of a building. And she was nude, all but for a wide brown belt strapped around her breasts. And it had a huge red rose in the middle of her chest on that belt with some green leaves. So she gave them intense pleasure. You're responsible for dot, dot, dot was going into her mental body as she was pleasuring him. And then it appears as though he gave her intense pain in payment. And now this was supposed to be a proxy for a sacrifice, for laying this responsibility for whatever his sin or his bad stuff is onto this other woman that he's been targeting. But she's innocent because the energy from this black magic, sex magic, wasn't being received. So apparently committees were born. It's like this woman was a proxy and she was being utilized to make a video evidence of something. And so they want to like lay the blame of whatever it was they were laying on this proxy onto the target here, and then replace her with a copycat. So flip her, put her in south node, and then replace her with a copycat. But the energy from this black magic of this sacrifice did not stick. So the black magic probably is going to rebound, and I don't know who it's going to hit when it comes back. This video, I don't know if it's going to be expressed out there or showed to anybody. It most likely will. They want to destroy this woman's reputation. It did not end well for the actress. These s.e.x deviant human traffickers keep calling this divine feminine target a demon. They truly believe that the Most High God, the one who carries the light of the sun, the energy of the sun, is a demon. They're so low vibrational, they look at this energy as an enemy and a resource for them to harvest and use to what do they call it? Dissolve and then harvest, and then wear a lower vibrational fraction of it, because they're too low vibrational to withstand the high intensity of our light. So they do these filthy deeds, and they project their own persona onto the women, and then they deceitfully convict them for their crimes as they dump it into their energy. They have, and then they offer them as a sacrifice, and then they are sin-free. It's like they transfer their sins through this black magic sex stuff onto divine feminine, and then it's just nasty. They use their intimate encounters and their status as holy or powerful men to do this. They wield their given authority and the Father's phallus to harm women and children and other men, and then to hide under the law of whatever. It could be a judicial thing, or it could be a religious thing. Whoever these men are, they feel they're powerful and above the law. In the past, they received a tax statement, and they adamantly stated that they don't have to pay these taxes. So these are wealthy men with statuses that they should not be in, because they're very abusive with their privileges. Someone is asking about a confirmation, or they're speaking about one. They're asking each other if they'll recognize her. So it's like someone got confirmation of an address or a location, and they're hunting somebody. They were talking about a driver's license earlier. These bad men are talking about organ harvesting and prostitution, as though perhaps they have been accused of it. I heard a couple speaking earlier that they needed to release something that would change everything. July 30th, a spirit said that things were about to change, and they were speaking of a pandemic. So it appears that there could be some kind of biowarfare released into the atmosphere, onto the public. These ones are also talking about Jehovah's Witness, and they have talked about this before. So there are many psychics out there that are witness to what they're being shown and told, and they are reporting it to the public. And these powerful men are quite upset. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 are psychics, so they're out there targeting many oracles and psychics now. If you have daughters that are virgins, just be extra careful with your protections regarding them. That's the message, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.